This is the Forex recap for the week ending Friday, June 15th. Let's do it. What's up, folks? Mark's here. We got let's kick off this weekly recap. Another phenomenal week in the market, both Forex and futures. This video is going to be for Forex. Really just more of the same patterns, right? For those of you that have installed the dyno bars in your machine, I'm hoping you're seeing some of these just unreal patterns that take place, over and over again. And my new favorite saying is, let the trend do the heavy lifting. Right? Your job as a trader is to find the trend and let the trend do the heavy lifting, and let the other rookies, noobs, fuss around and basically take money, transfer money from their brokerage account to your brokerage account. So let's take a look at some of these setups here, right? That's what you tuned in for. So this is the pound yen from right at the start of the week. Beautiful long signal right there. Just, you cannot ask for a better signal right there. And literally within the first half of the session, like just 180 pips without even blinking, right? I mean, just a great start to the week. Literally the next session, same exact setup, right? Perfect long signal took place right there. Price came back and retraced just like I like to see it, and another 120 pips. Now this particular trader here we're going to spotlight. I try to spotlight the best trades of the week, and when I say spotlight, what I mean is a lot of you have contacted me with more inquiries on how to set up the T-bars, right, which is the chart that you actually take your entries on. And I'm going to try to spotlight that on this particular trade, just because it was like the risk was so tiny and the potential reward was so large, right? But you just go back to basics. Again, long signal comes in right there, the price retraced, and before you know it, 120 pips. And same exact thing on the way down. Short signal printed right there, and a beautiful 70 pips without even thinking about it, right? When you add up your wins and your losses, you're looking at 400 pips minus what? 30 pips, 40 pips in losses. It's the essence of trading is what I'm trying to say. What I just described is the essence of trading. And again, for those of you who have seen my videos, it's just the same story. You're going to make a whole bunch of money on just 2 days, and you're going to chop around the rest of the week, right? Even when you chop around, you're not going to get hurt too bad. And hopefully by the end of the week, you're going to be sitting pretty and just literally patting yourself on the back with how many pips you were able to capture using a trend-based trading approach. All right. Let's take a look at the Euro New Zealand, which is another one of my favorite buddies. Again, same kind of thing. You start off at the beginning of the week, chopping around, right? Not much to be had here. But even then, short signal and a nice long signal. Didn't go anywhere, but I mean, I'll take 30 pips, right? Even if I have to give it back, I'll take 30 pips. Next day, simply gorgeous trades. Long signal, short signal, that was the winner. 85 pips, right? So one thing that you're noticing is it doesn't really matter the instrument, right? Like this, it's coincidence it says Euro New Zealand, but could be anything. These patterns happen every single day, every week, every month. It's the power of a trend trading approach. I want to jump right back into the pound yen, all right? So I want to basically tailor this recap to those of you that are looking for very, very specific entries. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so there's really two. I mean, I was kind of like debating which one am I going to spotlight in this recap. I'm just kind of going to go with this one because like the action on this day where this bar retraced all the way back down, stopping out all those rookie noob traders, and the smart traders were just waiting for a chance to go long. This is probably a better trade to highlight. I feel like you guys would appreciate this a little bit more. So let's go ahead and deconstruct this trade right here. So the first thing we do is, we got to turn on our global cursors and we got to go to a side-by-side screen, right? So let's go ahead and find that. And, the signal came in right here. So the first thing we do is we got to do what? We got to plot the zones of our signal bar right here, right? I mean, I'm assuming you would agree with that if you've seen, any of the videos on my channel. So when a signal bar comes in, all right, we don't know what's going to happen, right? Like let's pretend it's like this. This is how it looks. We don't know what's happening to the right of this green bar where my mouse is. All we know is that's the signal, right? So we got to plot the highs and the lows, and we'll timestamp it, later on. So the high is 147.22, low is 147.11. Love that, 22 and 11. So let's go ahead and plot that. 22 is going to be right there, and 11 is going to be right there. And yeah, we're just going to draw one of these guys. Anything to the right of this line is basically where we're looking for longs. Now you can see here, price took off like a rocket ship, right? Look at, flip back to Dino Bars. You're looking at this thing. You're looking at this thing on the left here where my mouse is. You missed it. You're like, geez, I missed it. But keep in mind the time of the day, right? It's still only 6 p.m. Chicago time, right? Technically, you're not even at your computer. So anything that happened between this signal bar and all of this stuff, it's kind of nonsense, right? It's not even worthy of consideration. But you're still watching your levels on the T-bar chart, right? You're still watching it on the T-bar chart. So you're watching price come in. It's just coming around, hanging around, hanging around. And now right here is where you're paying attention. You can see here, prime time, 8 p.m. Chicago time, comes back and tags the zone. Doesn't penetrate the zone, but tags the zone. So you're still kind of on the lookout for trades, right? So now, when you see a signal bar that gives you this amount of, what do you call it? How do we frame this into this amount of what I call the length of the bar, which is only 11 pips? This is an area where you gotta go aggressive, simply because your risk is so small. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't know what I mean by aggressive versus conservative, go back and watch some of my other videos on my channel. But for those of you that do know what I'm talking about, whenever you see a signal bar with this kind of high and low, it's like a no-brainer to go with, an aggressive method. So I still didn't touch anything, right? We're still kind of hanging around, and then lo and behold, price penetrates the zone. 9:15 p.m. Can you take a guess as to what I do next? Okay, good. We draw a trend line in an aggressive fashion and connect the pivots. We are done. What happens next? Price broke the trend line on the T-bars chart on the right over there. And the stop goes in. I'm going to draw a nice big dot on where your stop should go. Right there. Let's zoom in right there. So you can see here, this crazy pullback was this crazy ass bar right here. Like insane, right? Everybody else was freaking out, panicking. They were trying to go short. All their stops got hit. Not the smart trader, not the Dino Bar trader. We were waiting for that thing to come back in, right? So we go back, and if we squish this in, we can kind of see what happened on this trade. It just took off like a rocket ship, and we nailed the absolute bottom, right? We didn't nail it on the Dino Bars, right? So that's what, I almost feel like that's what some people kind of like struggle with understanding. Two-chart system approach, right? You got to have the Dino Bars on the left telling you the big picture, and it's telling you, hey, listen, we're looking for longs, we're only looking for longs, we're waiting for it to come back into the zone, and the T-bars is simply used to draw trend lines and take your entries. Other than that, the T-bars are totally useless. I mean, there are some customers that will trade exclusively with a T-bar chart. I don't recommend it, but it's only used for taking your entries. It does not give you an idea of what's happening on the big picture time frame. So yeah, I wanted to spend a couple of minutes, highlighting that. I thought people might find that pretty useful. And this thing ended up just being a rocket, the rest of the session. And keep in mind, it's still only like 9:30 p.m. Chicago time. You know what I mean? So this thing was basically a rocket for almost the entire early session. And the last piece of business I want to focus on, this is kind of a bonus for you guys and gals. This is a pair that I recently discovered when a customer requested a demo, the Australian dollar versus the US dollar. I'll be honest, folks, I've been staring at this chart for the last couple of days, ever since the person requested to see it, and I shit you not, I have hardly ever seen a more gorgeous chart display when the dyno bars filters have been applied to it. I mean, just look at this thing, like short signal, and it just told you to stay short the entire session, even into the next session. At the time of this video, 9 p.m. on a Friday night, it's still saying stay short, right? If I squish this in a little bit, I mean, look at these things, man. It's just like, I mean, look at this. Long all day. Shame on you if you tried to sell or short this market. Next day, short. Next day, long. Next day, short. I mean, anyway, why am I showing this to you? Well, I want to conclude this video by telling you, listen, folks, there are 300 different pairs, right? Not all of them are considered major pairs. For some reason, people have like a fetish or a fascination with the major pairs. There are hundreds of really amazing pairs to trade. So never feel like you have to limit yourself to what people are talking about on TV or on the news or on your whatever, your blogs, the magazines, your subscriptions, your chat rooms. That's all bullshit, right? Find a pair on your own, do your own homework, put the work in, and do some back testing and see if it's even worth trading. This particular pair, I'm going to be honest with you, starting next week, I am going to have all of my traders here in Chicago start trading this every day. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys made a bunch of pips this week, and we'll see you next week. As always, best trading wishes.